What's up? Joe here, Profit First Reseller. And we got a rare morning recording session going on here. We got some morning sunshine streaming into the office windows, so it's kind of nice. And basically I've just set myself up with a whole bin full of Wii remotes and nunchucks. I've mentioned this before, but this probably is our #1 selling item on our eBay store, which is a Wii remote and a nunchuck with a silicone cover, the battery back of course, and the strap, all OEM, all cleaned and tested. And we just have this as a perpetual listing because right now we have so many of these that we have not even processed them all, but more than enough to sell. Unfortunately, we've been selling these so quickly, maybe 1 to 3 a day, that we're almost out in our store. So we have plenty of unprocessed Wii remotes and nunchucks, but almost none that are fully processed. So I'm just gonna be doing part of that process today. It's probably gonna be a multiple day project, but this first project is just basically going to be disassembling everything. So stuff like this, I haven't tested it yet. I haven't looked inside the battery terminals. So I'm going to have to take off the silicone cover. That's going to go into one container, and that's going to end up getting thrown straight into my washing machine with some OxiClean and detergent. And so all of these silicone covers wash up really nicely. You can also just throw them right in the dryer. These are just silicone, which are heat resistant. So that silicone cover, that's an easy step. Similarly with these battery backs, I'm going to put them, right now I'll just be throwing it into this bin behind me, but I have a few of these little mesh bags that you use for delicates in your washing machine. So these will go into one of these bags and then straight into a washing machine to get cleaned. Now, unfortunately, I can't throw the whole remote. I mean, maybe I could. Nintendo products, it'd probably be fine if I dried it out properly, but don't give me any ideas. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take off, I'm going to take off this strap, unless it looks completely pristine, maybe I'll leave it on, but I'm going to take it off. This also gets cleaned. This will be getting thrown into a separate bin in a separate little delicates bag. So all of these straps, maybe not so much on this one, but you'll see so often that the strap itself, I think, just kind of absorbs a lot of sweat and stuff and just like body bits when people play. And so it gets really discolored. And so I tend to just clean all of these straps, again, with just some OxiClean for whites and unscented detergent in my washing machine. So that will be going into this bin as I kind of deconstruct all of these controllers here. Ooh, I need somewhere else to bang the batteries into. So unfortunately, it's a little loud, but I'll try to muffle it with a microfiber cloth here. But almost all of these are going to have batteries in them, and what I do is I just find a container to whack them into, and if you just hit it right on that top bit above where the batteries are, both batteries just fall out, and it's just so much faster than trying to scrape them out with your fingernails. So I do bang out the batteries on these things. So these will both go into my Wii remotes bin. Now I'll have a separate bin for remotes that look so bad I'm not even going to waste my time to test, but as long as they look like they're worth a test, they're going to go into this main bin of Wii remotes, and that will be ready for the next step of the process. So battery cover goes there. Nunchucks will be the same thing. I will be separating them between worth testing and not worth testing, and we'll just go from there. And nunchucks, I think I might be wrapping here as well. Oops. Wanted to show some comments here, so I thought that'd be kind of fun on my iPhone. So also this person has the most amazing YouTube name. It is, you can't see the full name here, but if you're curious, it's Bulbasaur Reginald Huntington Esquire III. And they have offered a lot of great comments, a lot of great advice out here on the channel. And I wanted to highlight this comment here while we're working. That would be kind of fun. So something like this, I'm going to save the wrap, but I mentioned before I don't like rubber bands because they continue to cinch down and can leave creases on the cables. So I prefer twist ties. So I'm going to remove this rubber band. Oh, this one does not want to escape. And yeah, they're just those little crease marks. Sometimes they do pop back after a while though, so I'll just put this twist tie on a slightly different spot in the cable and let the rest of that cable kind of relax and spring back. And that goes into the good nunchucks bin. Anyway, our good buddy, Sir Reginald Bulbasaur Reginald Huntington, Esquire III, said, I really enjoy your videos, great insight. I asked this on a previous video, but I'd love for you to go into it in more depth if possible. I'm getting started on flipping video games and consoles and some other electronics. I'm getting a little workshop put together to do repairs, so I'm open to taking in non-functioning NES and SNES and stuff like that. The issue I'm running into is inventory. I live in a smaller town in Michigan, but even with searching Facebook Marketplace and hitting up garage sales in larger places, I'm not getting anywhere close to the inventory sellers like you have to be able to resell at a consistent amount. On top of that, most antique stores and thrift stores are outrageously overpricing stuff already. I get that this is already curated mostly, so it somewhat makes sense. I think I need to find these sellers that ship big lots of untested, not working stuff and see if I can fix it, but I don't know where you can go about finding these sellers who you can buy these big lots from. I know there are some lots on eBay, but I imagine you have to build relationships with sellers so that you both avoid doing transactions through eBay to avoid fees. I'm not sure. Any insight would be appreciated. Sorry if this comment got posted twice. My first version didn't look like it posted. Okay, so many great thoughts here. I answered I did answer in the comments, but I'm going to kind of try to give a different answer now and maybe focus on slightly different things. So it seems like Bulbasaur really wants to move up and scale up in the business, right? And they're looking for, larger scale, larger lots. And so I would caution you that you are putting a lot more time and money on the line. I think that it should be worked up to. So before I went from shopping at thrift stores to buying in large bulk lots and contacting commercial vendors, I did the Goodwill outlet store for a couple of years, where I was going and I was waiting in line in the morning, waking up super early, waiting in line, getting in, trying to be around 5 or 10 in line. So I didn't want to wake up at 5 a.m., but I'd work up at 6 or 6:30 a.m. to get there ahead of most people. And I'd go straight for the electronics and I'd wait until I got at least 50 or 100 pounds of inventory, come home, try to list it all, and then go back and do it again the next day. And I did that for years. So I really worked up my ability to handle volume, because some of the worst reseller horror stories that I've heard are resellers that, either put it on credit or have a bunch of money giving to them, or just have a bunch of money to invest in the reselling business early on before they've got the experience. And they go out and buy a ton of inventory that they're not prepared for. Whether it's, people going to the outlet mall and buying a bunch of jeans and then recognizing all of a sudden that nobody wants to buy them online and they've wasted thousands, or it can be anything. Pokemon cards, I've heard so many horror stories. So I think you need to work your way up. So I don't think you should consider a $5,000 purchase until you've already done maybe a $2,000 purchase in your business, and don't consider a $2,000 until you've done a $1,000. And then before that, if you need to work your way up and recognize that there's always anytime you're purchasing something for your business, especially inventory like this, with resale inventory, nothing's guaranteed. That is part of the point, I think, that these people often don't know what it's worth, or aren't willing to put in the time, or don't know how much time is required to make the inventory that they have valuable. So sometimes it's a matter of educating people of hey, I know you think it's worth X, but it is so dirty that I don't think anyone would be willing to pay this, but I'm willing to pay this. And all of these relationships are back and forth. There is no perfect vendor out there. I will continue to say that again. I think people probably just assume that there's just a guy who has one pallet of beautiful stuff for me every week. And that's not how it works. You have to have a relationship with a whole bunch of people if you want to try to simulate or emulate an actual steady business in reselling, because this is not a steady business. At least in my experience, I have rarely, if ever, heard of somebody who has that golden source that's consistent at a fair price, that gives you the stuff you need, and then never just disappears one day. I don't think that happens. So I like to kind of spread out my business among multiple sources if possible. There is no golden source. But if you are looking for opportunity, you're mentioning thrift stores and antique stores in your area. So here is where, if you're actually ready to take that step, Bulbasaur, Reginald Huntington, Esquire III, I think that you should start making some phone calls. If I was in your position, I'm sorry, I try not to say I think you should. I mean, I understand that you are asking for advice, but I try to frame it of if I was you in your position, I would be calling these people, because if these thrift stores and antique stores in your area are indeed overpriced, as you say, they're not going to sell that stuff. And they would love for someone to call them, at least one, I would imagine, and say, hey, what do you do with all the stuff that has been sitting on your shelf for a while, the older electronics, maybe the stuff that needs repairs? That would be my pitch. You have to try to frame it in a way that is mutually beneficial, right? Like, this is another reselling business, essentially. So they also want to make money. They also recognize the value of items, but they may not have the same skills as you. So I think that would be worth thinking about and doing some personal reflection on, of like, what can I offer these people? But if you're ready for those consoles, those dirty old SNES and NES consoles, I would just put the word out. I take broken consoles on all your local Facebook buy and sell groups. Post and say, hey guys, I'm not actually selling anything in particular, but if you want to sell me any of your broken or dirty old consoles, and include a picture of an example, I make offers, I pay better than whoever, or I pay fair, I pay cash, I'll pick it up. Again, even on the Facebook ad, think about, oh, my recording just stopped, but that's okay. I'll bring it up in a minute here. Think about what you can offer. In this case, the customers or the potential customers on Facebook, or your potential new vendors, people that might have NES or SNES consoles for you. So I would imagine that wherever you live, there are NES and SNES consoles sitting in people's closets, even sitting in resale stores. And the question to ask yourself is just, how do I get at them? I'm sure these people would be happy with a $20 bill, and you'd be happy with their consoles. And so just to figure out how to get the word out. And Facebook groups and posting on Facebook is a great way to get eyeballs without having to pay for an actual ad. I think the next step might be thinking about paid advertising, but there's a lot of options to get the word out for free first, and then you go from there. Making phone calls. I think figuring out ways to get that inventory that isn't necessarily for sale with a listed price, but everything's for sale at the right price. So the question to ask yourself is, who's got consoles in my area? Who is it? An electronics recycler? Is it an old video game store? Is it a pawn shop? Call every pawn shop. Just call them. I mean, like, pawn shops are already negotiable, or just walk in the door and like make some relationships, but just say like, I will take all of your old X. Just give me a call, give out some business cards. Yeah, let me read over the comment here again. Actually, I'll bring it back up on the... I think I need to find these sellers that ship big lots of untested or not working stuff. Okay, so those lots are often on eBay as well. Definitely worth looking for, like untested, not working video game stuff. Definitely there as well. And on Facebook Marketplace, often you'll find people selling pallets. Definitely worth looking at. I never go off eBay. You mentioned like you avoid eBay. So no, I don't avoid. No, that eBay is also protecting me to make sure that the seller is delivering on their promise. Like, especially in the beginning, but then after a while, I've recognized that it's much easier for my bookkeeping to just keep everything on eBay and not be doing all of these off the books transactions and saving fees here and there. Like, there's a little bit of mutual protection when you actually do a transaction over a marketplace like that. And I'm willing to pay those fees, to keep paying eBay their due, and to be protected in that sense. So I don't take anything off of the platforms. Smaller town in Michigan. Cool. Well, Bulbasaur, thank you for leaving this comment. I think that was just so fun, and I should get back to work a little bit here, but I appreciate all these awesome, like these comments that are just like, I'm just like in bed at night and I'm just feeling so connected to all of you as I'm reading these comments. And so thank you again. Okay, here's another comment here from Albert Rojas 2992 said, I do it tired, quote, any caffeine? Yes, I do very well with caffeine. That is one of the few drugs that I actually enjoy. I have usually black tea in the morning. I'm a big fan of pu'er tea. There was a time where I was trying to quit coffee, and I found that pu'er tea, P-U-E-R-H, just had this really deep, earthy, almost like stinky character to it. And it's just like an inky black tea when you really brew it strong. And it really just hit the spot as a replacement for coffee for me for a while. And I've just really developed a taste for it. So I love black, like really ripe pu'er tea. That's just my thing. And yeah, mix it in with, usually in the morning, I mix it in with a little bit of oat milk and chocolate collagen protein powder, basically. And that's my morning. It's like a morning hot chocolate. It's so good. I keep turning the other way. I'm gonna put these here because I just want to be putting them here. So I'm just gonna put the Wii remotes there. Or the Wii remote bin. So I use this. This is like a little cook nose or a bent nose needle nose pliers. And I use it because I just don't have very long nails and I don't like to use them in general. So I use it to pop off the battery cover, and that goes over here. And then I also use it to grab that little loop right here that just makes it so much easier. And then I can just open it up and pull the rest of it through. And it just makes it a lot easier to pull off these little straps. So caffeine. Okay, so love my black tea in the morning. Pu'er is like a medium caffeine level from what I've read when it comes to the different teas. So I'm probably getting about 100 or 150 milligrams of caffeine from that black tea in the morning. And then I will often have a coffee between noon and 2 p.m. Again, love it with a little bit of oat milk. Right now I've been loving, I've just developed a taste for instant coffee. And I found that it's just so convenient and quick as well. So I like the Starbucks blonde roast instant coffee. So a couple teaspoons of that frothed up in the afternoon is perfect. And then I try to cut off any caffeine definitely by 4. I'd like to push it closer to 2 p.m. But these days I'm kind of caffeining up until around 4 p.m. This one doesn't seem as good. I'm going to make a new not good pile for nunchucks. Like not even worth testing kind of good. And that's it. I think caffeine, it's like it's basically borrowing energy from later. I think you got to recognize what it is. Caffeine does not contain energy. If anything, energy comes from calories. It actually literally give you the energy to burn. Caffeine can cause your body to allocate more energy now, but it tends to come at a cost of less energy later. So sometimes for me, it's just about strategically allocating the peaks and troughs of my energy and just understanding how it works. But you can't just be on caffeine all day, every day and expect to feel energized. Like there is going to be a huge downside. And as we've all seen, if you abuse caffeine, it stops working altogether. And then you just need caffeine to even get up to a baseline. You're not getting the effects that you even enjoy of being all hyped up because caffeine has stopped working for you. You're like, our brains are very adaptive in that sense. So I think it's important to take a break every once in a while from any drug, really. Anything that you're doing for a specific, effect, and take a break. A little tolerance break, if you will. So, same with caffeine. Oh yeah, and there was another comment here that might be interesting to talk about from Tops FU. They said, I recently started selling in the EU, but I'm getting no views on my eBay store. Is it because I just started? Does it get better? My pics and description are good, so I'm not sure what it is. Okay, not to, speaking of coffee or tea, I'm gonna go to the restroom and I'll be right back and we'll finish this up. All right, we're back, I think. Yes, recording, good. Tops FU said, I recently started reselling in the EU, but I'm getting no views on my eBay store. Is it because I just started? Does it get better? My pics and description are good, so I'm not sure what it is. Really, I probably just read that twice. Sorry about that. Basically, I don't think the views are worth worrying about. And I think that you are focused on the right thing, which is it's the title and the description and the pics and making sure that that's quality. And if you're good with that, I think most of my items sell with 0 views. I don't know how eBay calculates the views, but I don't think that you need to worry about it. I don't think that's an indicator you're doing anything wrong. I think you just need to keep putting up those listings and eventually you're going to see the results. I think what matters is the eBay sold comps. But yeah, the views, I would not worry about that. I literally have had items sell with 0 views. Like, how does that make sense? But it literally happens all the time, which makes me think that however they calculate the views is just not done in a way that's actually helpful to us as resellers. So thank you, and congrats on starting and getting out there and focusing on the right thing, saying my pics and description are good, like good. If they're good, do it. Keep it up. Keep pumping those listings into your store. Listing is like the lifeblood of a healthy eBay store. Just quality listings. Keep putting them up. You got this. Oh yeah, it's a WeMotion Plus. Okay, cool. Wish I had a separate bin for that, but I'll just put that there for now. So, let's see. Do you use scan sheets with pirate ships from Life in Jorts? Oh my God, Life in Jorts, what a great username. Thank you for commenting. Man, I don't know if I have the build for jorts, but I respect that, so. Respect. I don't use scan sheets with pirate ship. I know that's an option. Oh, excuse me, I just literally wiped my face with the microphone. Professional. I'm a professional over here, but not a professional YouTuber, unfortunately for you, but I'm a pro eBayer, so hopefully we'll figure this out over here. I don't use scan sheets with pirate ship because we really haven't found that to be a need. I've never had my drivers ask for it, and at this point, I'm kind of deferring to them and asking them how it's going, however they like it. I just want it to be as easy for them as possible. Every time, if I see one of the drivers, I run out and I'll go bring the stuff out to the sidewalk for them. I just want them to know, I recognize that I'm adding to their job. So any way that I can also make it a little easier, I will also do that. But I've never had any of them ask for a scan sheet, so I don't do that currently. Wandering Chronicles 18 says, great video. Do you find that pirate ship is cheaper than the discount that rates eBay provides? I would say that's complicated, but the short answer is they're about the same, almost the same. I think at the end of the day, if you choose one over the other, your total shipping cost is going to be very similar. I like pirate ship, as I mentioned before, because they make it much easier to just use your business credit card, whereas eBay is constantly pushing you to using your eBay funds, which makes sense from their perspective because they don't have to pay fees on that. But I'm not making any money on the transaction with credit card points if it's just getting pulled right out of my eBay funds. I like pirate ship pretty much just for that. Typically, again, I would say 95 to 96% of the time. I don't know, that's way too specific. I meant that to be a broader range. Somewhere, a vast majority of the time, it's the exact same. Sometimes pirate ship, in that remaining few percent, sometimes pirate ship will be cheaper, sometimes eBay will be cheaper. Pirate ship only offers 2 out of the 3 services. That being, pirate ship will allow you to use the post office, USPS, or UPS, but not FedEx. And eBay has negotiated really good rates with all 3. To the point where, even with the FedEx rates, for example, if you try to go on the FedEx website and buy a label, which you can do, and I've tried, it's way more expensive than that exact same label if you just buy it through eBay, because eBay and pirate ship as well have negotiated larger commercial discount rates and then pass it on to consumers like us. So the one difference is that sometimes FedEx in general just offers way more competitive rates than the other 2. And in my experience, that is for very large but not overly heavy packages. Guitar Hero guitars are the perfect example of this. They're these huge packages, but they only weigh 4 pounds. Those are often a few dollars cheaper on FedEx. So in those cases, even though I'm usually on the pirate ship page that's just printing and marking all my orders as shipped, if I see a Guitar Hero controller, I will flip over to my eBay orders page, type in the dimensions there, and if I see that FedEx is offering a much cheaper rate, I'll just buy it on FedEx because, yeah, it's nice to get a couple percentage points of credit card rewards on pirate ship, but if I can save multiple dollars just buying a cheaper label, I'd much rather do that on eBay. So that's what we do. It's kind of our overall strategy. So I would say in our business, we're about 98% pirate ship. And then that 2% that is cheaper FedEx for those big old packages. Most of ours are smalls, and I would say go USPS. And there's another portion that go UPS, the kind of like middle range or the heavier ones. But these large but not super heavy boxes, they go FedEx, and those I buy on eBay. Let's see, another great comment from Adam Sam 6823. So fun. Some more great comments. The Disgruntled Octopus, of course. Again, if you are interested in the intersection of neurodivergence and eBay reselling, or just reselling in general, check out the Disgruntled Octopus on YouTube. He's just a very open, honest dude. He has kids. I find myself relating to the way that he runs his business and thinks out loud. So definitely check it out. And he kind of, if you're not in on the joke, he kind of plays a character where he calls himself Minion J. That's his character name. And then the Disgruntled Octopus runs the show from behind the scenes. So you will rarely see the Disgruntled Octopus in person. Mostly you're talking with Minion J. So I should refer to him by his proper name. One of the minions of the octopus there running the channel. Dr. Dunn, another great commenter, contributor, I believe member of the Tech and Sports Facebook group as well, said, "Hey Joe, great video. Looks like your American Bubble Boy link may need to be changed. It's taking me to sign up." Oh yeah, I did fix that. Man, so helpful. I just wanted, I guess, just highlight, say thank you for that. I do have a link for my the bubble wrap that I've used for years in my business. It is the best quality bubble wrap out there, called American Bubble Boy. I use their 100% recycled option, which will often come slightly tinted in different colors based on whatever recycled material they're using. Sometimes it's slightly pink, sometimes it's slightly green. This particular batch is very squeaky for whatever reason, so you can tell the base material sometimes does change, but the quality is always so high and the prices are great. I get the 3 rolls, which is like 1,050 feet for $50, and they have a bunch of distribution centers all over the United States. So they'll just ship from whichever distribution center is closest to you when you order. And so you'll tend to get your bubble wrap within a day or two, which is pretty cool. So I do have a link to that, but it was incorrect in the beginning. Dr. Dunn, shout out, fixed it for me, so thank you for that. Matt Trombley, 7626, said, "I'm the same way about not talking about goals. Been on eBay since 98, but kept the 9-to-5 job the whole way and became a 6-figure seller. I tell people eBay is my hobby, and at 56, I can retire anytime." Wow, congratulations, man. That's so cool. "I love both my jobs, so I feel like it's not work. Enjoy the honesty of your videos. I came over from Text Group." Oh, awesome. He's the man. Right on. He's indeed the man. Wow, what a cool story. I love that. Been on eBay since 98? What in the 27 years? Oh, gee, man. Back when they had to bring you money in the form of, I believe it was in the form of gold bullion delivered in a horse-drawn carriage back then. But we've really come a long way since then. Really cool, man. Tell people eBay's my hobby. Yeah, I love that. I think I would too, but now I can't deny it because it's literally all I spend my time doing. But I like that attitude of just like, yeah, it's great. But not overselling it. And I think I also have learned to recognize that this job really isn't for everybody. I don't find myself recommending this to almost anyone. It's hard. It's hard to be your own boss. I don't think it's for everybody. It's hard. There's no one telling you good job. There's no one telling you good job except you. And like sometimes that's not enough. Like being your own boss is hard. This is not for everyone. This is a long journey of quiet days where you just get the work done and then you go and you have to make your kids dinner and nobody says good job. I mean, it's nice for me to have a partner. Heather is like so good and she does tell me good job all the time, so that's helpful. But I think you know what I mean. And really cool, just so many inspiring comments so far. I appreciate it. Oh, think my recording just ended. Oops. I'm getting a call, I guess. I'm supposed to be on Do Not Disturb. Weird. Sorry about that. I'm going to... Yeah, I was on Do Not Disturb. What the heck? Okay, I'm going to pause this and we'll get back. Yeah, so I guess we were just looking at Matt's comment here. And wow, so cool. And at 56, I can retire anytime, but still doesn't really want to because I'm having that much fun and loving contributing and earning. And man, that's so cool. That's kind of my dream. I'd love to get there where I can retire anytime. I think that's total goal. That's what me and my wife are working towards right now. Just to hit that number. There's a whole community on Reddit called FIRE, FIRE, Financial Independence, Retire Early. And a lot of it's just about doing the numbers, doing the economics and the techonomics on your own life and saying, what's it going to cost for me to live for the rest of my life? Figure out what the number is and just start working towards that. Right? That's what we're doing. All right, let's see what else we got here. Switch It Up Gaming said, great video, man. How do you have your bubble wrap set up? I just started selling last month and I need a place for my giant roll of bubble wrap, LOL. So I have the most simple setup ever. I just have 2 eye hooks drilled into my wall up there. And then I have a dog leash with like clips that just clip on either end. And I can just adjust the dog leash to be the nice tension or like the right length. And then I just unhook one side, I string it through the bubble wrap roll, and then I just clip it back on the wall. It's like the most simple thing ever. It works great. Some funny comments here. Why is bro sleeping in there? Well, that was a phase that I think, thankfully, is over in our life. But we've got young kids, and they were just coming into our bedroom so often, especially the combination of the 3 of them. You know, the youngest one was just transitioning to sleeping on his own. And then with the other 2, sometimes, you know, you have normal kid nightmares and stuff. It was just like an every night occurrence. And I just recognized that if both me and my wife are waking up sleep deprived and zombies, like our family unit is suffering as a whole. So there would be times where I would come in here or even start in here and just say, I need to get solid sleep for a night to make sure that I'm good tomorrow. And I would just throw the mattress down right here in my office and nobody would come in because all the kids are used to going in that room. And my wife is so gracious and willing and able to handle the kids' needs at night, and I'm just so grateful for that, and so helped me continue to get quality sleep in the meantime. So at least one of us is getting sleep over here. So that is why bro is sleeping in here. I did have a mattress just propped up, just like ready to go. A big old, like a nice, like I had folding mattresses for a while, wasn't comfortable enough. I needed good sleep, so I got a full-on mattress to keep in here. Another comment from Toy Mike over here. Toy Silly says, I'm glad the squeaky bubble wrap got a second life. Yeah, man, there was that one video. I felt like it was just squeaking right in front of my microphone. Felt bad. But I felt glad that that squeaky plastic that was recycled, of course, was getting a second life. So that's pretty cool. Still, I feel like I'm still reaching for the wrong bins here. I still got to develop that muscle memory of where everything goes here today. All right, we got another comment from Sudai Jabarkil. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Awesome videos. I hope we see some sourcing videos. I'm not a full-time seller, but I love selling in general. Yeah, man. I think sourcing... I will continue to talk about sourcing strategy, of course, because that is literally the #1 comment and question that I've gotten so far since I started the YouTube channel, and I recognize that is something that a lot of people struggle with. And my advice, at least for now, I think is just to stop looking for the easy stuff and assume that there is stuff around, but it's going to be a little harder to find. So that's what I'm looking for. And you also have to recognize and first determine kind of what your ideal inventory is. Like, it took me years of going to thrift stores and garage sales and doing Facebook Marketplace deals to figure out the kind of junk that is my junk that might make someone else go, ugh, but in other words, it's another person's trash, but is my treasure. But it has to look like trash to most people, and sometimes that just takes some time. And if you already know what it is and what your ideal, inventory is, like, for example, Bulbasaur Reginald Huntington Esquire III had this goal of getting NES and SNES consoles. I keep getting calls. What in the world? Somebody keeps calling. I will call them back. Yeah, sorry about that. All right, we're back here. I have no idea. Might be business related. I'm doing YouTube videos. Who cares about business right now? I'll get back to him. Let's see. So yeah, sourcing in general. I think once you know the kind of, two more rechargeable. Anytime I see a rechargeable AA battery, I keep it, try to recharge it, and I'll sell it in a lot of tested working rechargeable batteries. That's cool. Don't have to throw those away. So questions to ask yourself might be, what do people ask my advice about? Is it fashion? Is it appliances? Is it HVAC equipment? Is it construction, supplies? Whatever people in your circle ask you about, that might be where I'd start. And then I'd start asking, where are there excess construction supplies? Where's there excess audio equipment in my area? Who might have it but isn't able to sell it, Construction equipment might be construction rental companies. Maybe I should call them and say if they've got any old equipment, and they might be too intimidated to try to sell it on eBay, but I can try to slap it on a pallet and get a freight quote and sell that stuff on eBay and probably make a couple thousand per piece if you do it right. What about audio equipment? I'd call pawn shops, right? Now, pawn shops have a ton of that stuff. They may not know the value of it. They may have to sell it more at the untested price. And you might be able to kind of ask, can I plug it in, get an idea if it works a little bit or not, and then I'll take it home and take a calculated risk. And if it works, make a few $100 on a nice stereo receiver from a pawn shop. Or just ask them, what do you do with all the stereo receivers that don't sell? Can I buy them in bulk from you for 20 bucks a pop or 10 bucks a pop? Or you're going to have to blaze your own trail a little bit if you want to get the kind of inventory that I think that you're imagining. Is that, like, the golden inventory doesn't exist, and if it does, you will have to have made it yourself and negotiated every step of the way and said, hey, I don't really like it when you include this in the bulk lots, but I love this, so next time can you try to just leave that out? And it's going to be constant communication. This is all humans at the end of the day. It's going to be all relationships. If you want to get into this next level of sourcing, which is more like business to business, that means it's not going to be listed for sale on Amazon.com or on a shelf that's open 9 to 5. It's going to be hidden in a closet somewhere of some commercial storage facility because some manager ended up retiring and they were the ones who were supposed to handle the resale, and now it's just stuck in company inventory. But if you call the right person, you can get access to that kind of stuff at a school or university. Like, imagine all the electronics, all the furniture, whatever you might be interested in. Like, all this stuff can be bought and resold, right? On eBay. Schools and universities are a huge source of that stuff. They have video games too. Give them a call. You never know. J-Ride Flips, one of the YouTube resellers that I've really looked up to, who also focuses on electronics. He goes to casinos and asks them, what's in your lost and found? Can I buy it from you? I'll buy all the stuff in your lost and found at a casino. Brilliant. Electronics and pocket knives and who knows what. He buys all that stuff. Eyeglasses, so smart. So if you got casinos in your area, they probably have a ton of junk that they don't want to go list on eBay, but they'd rather get some money for it rather than nothing. This is the kind of inventory I'm talking about. It's just stuff. We can sell anything on eBay. It's not going to be listed with a price tag in the same way if you want to really get to that next level of sourcing. So that would be my advice for you, I guess. Oh, another one from Bulbasaur. Oh, great. Wow, what a champ. Where do you get items to sell? Posting seems like a full-time gig, so when you get the time to find stuff to sell, you're just buying bigger lots of stuff and just piecing out. Okay, cool. I think we kind of talked about that. Yeah, essentially, yeah, at this point, I do just buy big lots from bigger commercial vendors, but I started off buying piece by piece and then buying in bulk at the Goodwill bins, all the electronics I could find and figuring out the kind of stuff that worked for me. And it's been a process of figuring out the items that I can sell quickly and or for a high ASP. Jay Jones said, "You are really maximizing your space in the garage." Laughing emoji. And they said, I think I responded like, that's a very nice way of putting it, because yeah, my garage is packed. It's looking a little better now than it was in that video, but man, we use that space up. But trying not to get a warehouse over here. I'm trying to keep it small, and I love figuring out ways to increase profit without increasing expenses, because that's when you really feel it. Because the rest of your life hasn't changed that much, but you're watching your bank account go up. So if I can figure out a way to stuff a little more inventory in that garage, I'm gonna do it. All right, just ripping off these silicone covers here. But yeah, Jay Jones, very nice way of putting it, so thank you. But yes, I agree. I feel like, I don't know, some people might be self-conscious about showing a messy garage like that, but I'm like, it's been a good challenge for me. In fact, one of those earlier comments, I thought I was fairly secure in myself, but I was actually a little bit self-conscious about showing that mattress in my earlier videos, as if I don't know, I guess I was embarrassed for some reason. I can't even pinpoint why it would be embarrassing to have a bed in your workspace, except just that, like, I don't have a mansion to like have a special room for an extra place for me to sleep as well or something. I don't know. I think when I really analyzed it, there was no reason to hide that. And that is literally just part of my journey. And something that even if it was just for me, but I think looking back, would appreciate being like, oh yeah, man, I literally used to sleep under my desk. I would just raise up my standing desk and slide my mattress right under here where I am. And I would just sleep under my desk because that was the spot. That's what I needed to do to make this business. That $1,000 a day. That was right in the middle of the grind there. So it's kind of cool, but it was a good test for me. I think this YouTube channel has really stretched. I feel like I'm a fairly confident person, I guess. I mean, I do question my own decisions a lot, but in general, I think at least people have told me I come across as confident, I guess. But it's hard to not want to put on appearances for a YouTube video. It's hard to not want to like make things tidy or change my outfit, or like, oh, I already wore this in one video, I should change. Like, what people can't know that you wear the same shirt multiple times in a week. Like, if that's the real you, I think it's okay to just put that out there. That's I don't know, at least in other YouTube creators, I have always appreciated the ones who just included all of it. I like long form podcasts, long discussions with the ums and the uhs. Like, I like that stuff. So I'm trying to keep this as unfiltered as possible. And I'm glad that someone noticed the mattress, and I'm glad that it didn't hurt my feelings. In fact, I'm kind of proud that I left it in there. I'm proud that I left something that kind of made me a little bit uncomfortable for whatever reason in the videos like that. So I'm going to try to continue to do that on these videos and just show warts and all, I guess. So Joe from Virginia said, hey Joe, just watched the video. I'm fascinated with all your processes, learned a lot. My question for you is, do you have any sourcing tips? Yeah, okay, so I think we talked about that a little bit. I'll continue to talk about that for sure. Oh, now we're just getting into more listing photos. So I think it's the end of the comments that I'd captured here. Just wanted to say thank you again for all the amazing interactions, and I am going to make myself some breakfast on this beautiful sunny morning here in Dallas, and just glad I got to turn on the video. Glad we got to hang out a little bit in this morning sesh. This is a new thing, and as always, I will see you in the comments, and until then, wait, I said that backwards. I'm Joe, Profit First Reseller, and until next time, I'll see you in the comments.